What and acted like it.
Now we're live.
Let's take two. Hello, welcome to the Reloading Podcast here on the Firearms Radio Network, presented by Primary Arms. Welcome to Snowmageddon 2023, version 3.
Take
Anyway,
two.
so yeah, for those of you who did get to see that, that's actually the second intro I did for tonight's show because I hit go live and my computer went, maybe not. So, good news for you, Mr. Loud. Mr. Sharp will not be joining us this evening. They're in the middle of a blizzard. They're saying 17 to 22 inches and 70 mile an hour wind gusts.
Yeah, he can have that.
We're not supposed to be quite that bad. They're only talking about a foot here between now and Thursday afternoon. But it could be up to a foot of snow with up to a half an inch of ice mixed in, just for fun.
Yeah. We're supposed to get the ice here.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I still have to go to no school tomorrow, but I still have to go to work. Of course, they now have said that they want us to go to work, and then they want us to clear snow in the morning, and then clear snow again before we go home. So all the snow that I have to clear for school means I'll probably spend about 6 hours in a tractor tomorrow.
Ooh. Enclosed?
Heck yeah. Heated, baby.
Okay. I mean, you know, the problem with tractors are a lot of them have, a floor to worry about, and it gets cold from underneath there.
Yeah, no, I am spoiled. The school that I'm subbing at has a nice heated cab, completely sealed tractor.
Nice.
Yeah. So, welcome to the fun, Ray.
That would be Ray Euler. His comment is, "Hi, new to reloading and just found you all."
Good.
Welcome, Mr. Euler. Hope you have a good time.
So he picked a good show to start. So, unfortunately, I don't have a lot of demonstrations, so I'll be showing some pictures and stuff. But tonight we're talking about brass inspection and brass cleaning, which is kind of the very first steps of reloading. But before we get that far, how's everybody doing and what you been up to?
Well, I'll start. Just been, doing the usual stuff, trying to, get things straightened out here. And sorry I missed last week. It was a good one. And just doing my thing.
Nick, how about you, bud? What did you do last week in the week? Okay, if that's the case, I'll take this opportunity to go ahead. Let me bring it up. Last week in Guns and Reloading, I went into the heart of the enemy's country. I went into Jersey City, New Jersey. Yeah. But I guess I got to handle an H&K VP9SK-B for Bravo.
Yeah.
9mm little HK, nice, sweet little sexy ass self-defense tool. But the one that impressed me was the shoe. I'm so impressed by I can't even say the name hardly. The Taurus Raging Bull.
Yeah.
And the frame is a 500 Smith & Wesson frame. But this little beastie was chambered in .357 Magnum, not even listed yet. According to some of the people I know, it It's out there. But it's
No,
brand new
it's
caliber for the frame. What's that, Mike?
No, I think the 357's been out for a while.
Well, I didn't see it in the listing. I looked at it online.
Yeah.
Well, that
I don't
doesn't
know.
mean anything. The point is, they got
the
8.
Raging Bulls are okay.
There's 8 chambers in that Raging Bull's chamber cylinder, and I tell you what, that's a beast to handle. It's a hunting gun, no two ways about it. But it comes in all these crazy ass calibers. I mean, they even do it in 223. Nothing wrong with that. Just you get 30 caliber carbine. Well, I wonder why I wouldn't spend my money on that. But never mind. That's my opinion. But anyway, I got to play with that Raging Bull a little bit, and I'm almost tempted to buy one. Almost. No, I just can't see it because that gun is so big and so heavy.
Yeah.
But it's a hunt. That's what I told Rick, my nephew up there. I told him, it's like, man, this is nothing but a hunting gun. You cannot carry this gun for self-defense. He says, I know. Never fired it. He'll probably fire it down here in North Carolina when he comes down. I see you, Ms. Kitty. I appreciate that. You're 121 miles to New York City. I've actually been out on Long Island to, God, I forgot the name of the range out there on Long Island. Chris Schroeder, you're out there on Long Island. What's the name of that range out there? It begins with Calverton. That's it, Calverton.
Well, you deep in the enemy territory there.
Yeah, well, a friend of the podcast, Mike knows who he is. Salvatore Cincamani, Mr. Shotgun Reloader, the guy who showed me how he loads buck and ball loads in the 12 gauge.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, serious business now. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. Welcome to the show, sir. Yes, Miss Kitty. Well, Miss Kitty, 223 and a handgun is not going to be much on your titanium reinforced arm. Anyway, so Nick, it's your turn, buddy. What'd you do?
Not too much. I had a special gift from a listener named
Just use his first name. He'll know who
Yep.
you're talking about.
Scott. Sent me a gift. I know you guys have seen. I showed you before the show. I'll show the bolt off. See if anybody can pick up what that is.
Wow, that's a bolt face. Oh, that's the rear of the bolt.
That's
okay.
Yep, that's the rear of the bolt face. So would show the whole gun, but of course we can't. But yeah, I want to thank Scott.
Actually, with
again.
Nick, with the bolt out of it, you can show the gun because it's not.
Okay. Was not sure. So
to show the chrysanthemum.
So I don't know what's going to come up on the screen.
Now you have to do that flashlight trick again, bud.
Gotcha. Let's see if I can get the mode. So
up a little bit higher, Nick. Up about eye level, please.
Yep. Trying to
right there.
I see it.
Yep.
So it's got a nice Japanese Type 38 Arisaka carbine. So missing a few parts, but other than that, yeah, I want to thank Scott again for sending that. So gonna clean it up, make it a nice shooter. Hopefully it's got some pretty good rifling in it. So other than that, I had some reloading dies that I won on auction, came in this week, and they look brand new. RCBS 8mm Mauser and 6.5 Swede. Dad had his RCBS Case Master gauging tool come in that he got on an auction. And we won another one, but hasn't shipped yet. Hopefully that'll be here probably probably not by next week, but the week after. So that'd be a nice one to show as well.
Nice.
really do much. So,
Oh, real quick, and for everybody, there might be possible good news next week from me. Got to
Yep.
stay tuned to see. So,
yeah, the Taurus has had the tracker line out for a while. They've got a 17 and a 22 and 44 mag. They're okay.
That's a hell of a jump in caliber from 22
look
rimfire
nice.
to
They look nice. I
44 mag.
personally wouldn't buy one, but
Now, what is the tracker? It's a revolver, apparently, but is it just a variation of the Raging Bull?
yeah, the tracker is what the Raging Bull came out of. So, yeah, it's basically just the same. It's essentially the same thing, just a little fanciered up, and so.
Oh,
The
it is a
Raging Bull's
Taurus.
the Raging Bull's the heavier calibers, whereas the Tracker's the lighter ones.
Okay, I got you.
So,
Nothing wrong with that.
yeah, they're nice looking.
Well, I like that. I like that silver frame and the black barrel. And my nephew Rick, he put a black rubber hand grip on it.
Yeah,
Doesn't need it for 357 with a handgun with a chunk of lead that damn heavy. My God, that thing's heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Now I will say the trigger pull was atrocious, but again, it's a hunting gun. You get something like me that shoots a lot. Well, used to shoot a lot. I'd break it in real well.
yeah. I think this one's a nicer one.
Maybe they will do a little bit of stonework. Oh, okay. Hey, here comes a troublemaker. You can't hear me yet.
Party.
Here comes a troublemaker right there.
The party.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
not
Jim,
the
if you were
party.
looking for a big handgun to go hunting with, either this one, which is the GP100, or a Smith & Wesson 686. So,
Sounds good.
but yeah,
686. That's a
this
stainless
is-
steel gun.
yeah, this has got that big fat barrel like the
Big heavy underlug.
Raging Bulls do.
Yep.
So,
Party.
Right. He could go with the new Korth that just came out.
No, he couldn't.
yeah,
I don't, unless you give me the money. I don't think he could.
right? Paul, you giving him the course money?
No, I'm not going to give him the Korth money because I need it myself. But a couple of barrels yet to pay for and some chambering. But yeah, considering they want $9,000 for it.
For a Korth?
For a Korth.
Lunacy.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
go see. Gun Collective just did a review on it, or not a review. It kind of talked about it on the weekly episode. Yeah, $9,000.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Lunacy. I can buy so much stuff for $9,000.
Gents, I paid $185 for my Dan Weston MV Model 15.
I could buy a Mark
It was
7
barrel.
for that.
What? What's
You know
that,
how-
Mike?
I said I could buy a Mark 7 fully loaded for that.
Could buy a couple Mark 7s almost.
Yeah, really.
Well,
Right?
he wants the auto drive with it, so
Well,
So I
even
was-
even the fully loaded Mark 7s are only like $5.
right.
So,
One more thing, real quick. Why I was going to check on something.
yes.
I didn't get to show it off a couple weeks ago, but here is the nice binder from loaddata.com.
Okay.
So super nice front back, nice big on the side so you can know what
Nice.
it is. And
Oh,
What's
nice.
that on the inside, Nick?
so it just kind of got some documentation, kind of explaining how to use the website, kind of some different stuff, and kind of talking about different, like here's talking about pet loads for the 7x30 waters, all sorts of other cool information. So haven't printed off any for mine yet, but and I
Did you give
understand
me
why
blank sheets, Nick?
they did not. And the reason why is they want you to go and kind of print off the data from their website.
Gotcha.
So, but And I can see why they don't put everything in there because, of course, that's a heck of a lot of
Oh
paper.
my God, no.
And 95% of the loads that would be in there, most people aren't going to use.
Yep.
So I'll probably start looking through, see what I want to have in there as far as my standard run of cartridges. But other than that, it's a really nice, high quality binder. So
How much, bud, if you don't mind?
I think it was $10. So
What?
yeah.
Nick,
Yeah,
I called you dirty names earlier because you're a scoundrel and thief, but it's like,
But I got us that
you
$10.
stole- you should
I got
be
us that.
ashamed of
I got us that $10 savings.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it was. It's normally $35 a year. I got it down to 25, and I figured for that $10 I saved, I'm going to buy the binder.
You bet.
So
Beautiful binder too.
it is, and that's.
Congratulations.
I was
Excellent pick.
interested to see what it was going to look like, but it blew it out of the water. That's for sure. So
Mm-hmm. I'll look into that.
yeah, if you need the email, Jim, just let me know. We got a connection there. You just got to say you're with the Reloading Podcast, and they'll get you the SHOT Show special.
Can do.
Sharenda,
Yeah, yes.
nice to see you finally remembered how to get here.
Hey, it's been y'all behind scenes know what I've been going through in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, don't look at my room. It's a mess.
Jim did that. I don't know why he did that, but he did that.
It is a mess. Like I almost wanted to blur it.
So what you been up to other than the other stuff?
Just work. Finally got done with a mandatory overtime project that had me this close to quitting. And getting ready to do go to a women's Pheasants Forever educational camp. I'll be helping mentoring this weekend.
Awesome.
And then I have the Pheasants Forever banquet coming up for the chapter that I'm a board member of here locally. So I'm actually pretty excited about that. We got some strong donations on that, and planning out part of spring for some interesting, fun activities and quite a few exciting partnerships for Wilderness and the Tally, and
Awesome.
yeah, and get some life balance going on.
You get
Sweet.
your Perazzi donated yet?
Gosh, please. I couldn't even get Savage to donate anything to me. Needless to
Savage
say,
already gave you a rifle.
no, I'm talking about for the Pheasants Forever
Oh,
banquet, not for me. There
Oh,
would have
you
been
don't
no
want to-
benefits to me.
you don't want to renegade.
Yeah.
I would.
No.
Did we ever figure out, Trinda, who got more at SHOT?
It was obvious you got more since I couldn't participate outside of 2 darn days.
Okay, but you still have connections at how many major companies?
Oh. But we didn't say we weren't talking connections. We were talking patches and stuff.
No. That's
Oh.
not the whole. I don't think that's how the game was working. If I
Oh.
remember right,
Okay. Well, I mean,
none
if
of
I
us.
just,
Okay, I will say none of us got anything great like we did last year.
okay.
Like
Fair
I
enough.
did last year. So
I did
But-
get some amazing connections that shockingly half of them actually followed through on some stuff and reached out to me, which some people are just a damn lie. So that's it. It was kind of interesting trying understanding and navigating the industry a little bit more. 50% are great, 50% are full of shit.
Such language.
That it's the truth though.
it
I'm
is.
not arguing
It
that.
is.
It's the truth. I'm not even gonna apologize or sugarcoat it. I'm speaking what it is.
And just wait, Trinda. The emails haven't even started yet.
The email address that they use, it's a spam email address.
Oh, you're okay. You got that worked out. I
Yeah.
made the mistake of not using a spam email, so I have a folder. Whenever I see something from SHOT, nope, goes to that folder. And if I want to look through it later, I'll look through it later.
Now there were a couple where I was really hoping they would reach out to me, and they did. They got the real email address, but yeah, I had a spam one set up for that. I'm trying to think. Do I have anything new? to share with y'all toy wise? No, other than the bipod that I got that had me in tears. Had me wanting to sell a kidney on the open market, not black market.
So tell us more about this that you got that brought you to tears.
It was an Atlas bipod.
Ooh.
Yes. I actually did the buy once, cry once, but the crying has not stopped.
Hmm. We love you, Shrenda. Just keep
has
it on.
not
Just keep on
stopped.
playing that violin.
You know what? The benefits of working occasionally at a gun store is that I can actually touch stuff and see the quality of it and mount it on their guns and tinker around with it. And yeah, let's just say the next person that suggests that I put a mag pull on the Creedmoor is going to get punched in the throat. And that was just
Wow.
from looking at quality. It wasn't I'm going, I do the stupid stuff sometimes where I have to see for myself. No, I looked at that and was like, you got to be kidding me. There's no way I would use that for what I plan to use it for.
Mhm.
I'm still weeping inside. Let me have a moment. Okay.
You're gonna make it.
I may weep again here in about 15 minutes when I glance over at it.
Comedy. Straight comedy. So anyway. Oh, Nick got me some 303 brass that I'll get from him eventually. So
We might meet up sooner rather than later, and you know why. So we got to work that out for sure. Because you have a lot of stuff for me, I have a lot of stuff for you.
yes, indeed. What, Paul?
I'm just thinking that Nick over there is getting evicted soon.
No, there ain't no eviction coming. No.
So, Paul, I heard we're all crashing at your place for NRA.
Sure,
What isn't Paul's house like still 2 hours from Indy?
an hour.
Okay. Still, that's
An
a little bit. I'll get a hotel room for that. I'd rather stay in a hotel room. Even though I've been looking at like Airbnb, see what's over there.
I haven't even started looking yet. So,
I don't know what's going to be. What I'm going to be
Jim,
doing.
are you
that
coming
time.
up or not?
No, I don't think, Mike.
Okay, Sharenda.
I don't know. It all varies. And I'll talk to you guys about that in the background.
Obviously. Oh,
I
anyway.
want to.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely we want to. I'm going for sure. Even though my wife's trying to guilt me into not leaving her home with him.
With
I'm
him.
his.
Don't you see that black bear on the floor?
The BlackBerry.
That non-moving lump of
Ollie,
fur.
smile. Ollie, hi, Ollie.
Hell, bring the dog.
I'm his emotional support human, and that's not a joke. He doesn't do well when I go away.
Oh,
So.
okay.
I think my dad and I are for sure planning. It all just depends on what's going on with something. So,
Yep. So, but yeah,
and
as of
if
now,
that
I'm
something is
going.
working out, Shrenda, you are going. I will make you go at that point.
You guys are actually pretty fun to hang out with.
Yes,
It's
they
like
are.
bad corruption live is the only way I can describe it.
Okay. Good thing you're only hanging out with us for like 20 minutes that one day. Imagine a weekend or a week. Well, okay, so you were with us for a week. Wow. I can't remember a month ago.
Yeah, but I wasn't the one getting spanked.
No!
It's Vegas.
Oh, God.
It's Vegas.
what?
What do you expect? We weren't even. No, I'm not going to go there.
Yeah.
I don't know what I expected from Vegas, but yeah.
What happened? What stays goes in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Thank you.
It was supposed to.
Hmm.
Obviously, Nick didn't pay people well enough to make sure that happened.
Uh-uh. Oh, Ken Brown said NRA convention not dog friendly.
You can only bring service dogs in.
Yeah.
Yeah, most conventions have always been that way.
Yep.
You know, I'm not for or against it. Do I think people should take their pets everywhere? Absolutely not. If they're service dogs, definitely get a pass. But for people that I know that have severe allergies to animals, including their saliva, it's kind of a pain in the ass sometimes that, sometimes you think people value their pets more than they do a human life.
Yep.
There's a joke going around. If you have 3 dogs and somebody tries to take one, what do you have? 3 dogs. No. If you have 3 dogs and somebody tries to take one, what do you have? 3 dogs and a dead body.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
And I will say for Ken Brown, in the years past when I've gone to NRA, there haven't been that many service animals.
no.
You get a few. It's not like SHOT Show where 90%
Everybody and
of,
their grandma.
and it's 90% of it's German Shepherds, Belgian Malinois, Rottweilers, and a few other breeds. That's about it. But you can tell that kind of group that does that.
There's definitely a trend with that kind of group.
Yeah.
Oh, damn, Ken. Are you meaning your wife as in allergic to animals, or are we going in a different direction?
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Are we going to inspect some brass tonight?
No. We're going to look at pictures of somebody inspecting brass.
Good.
So. Is that so, Ollie? So, I thought I had a bunch of brass collected, and I don't know where it is. It's out in the garage somewhere because I still haven't gotten everything organized for the reloading area. So, but so I pulled up our good old-fashioned friends from Sierra. They did a wonderful presentation on their blog. This is actually back in 2015 by their ballistic technician Dwayne Sirks. Nice guy. Met him at SHOT Show a couple times. So, but he has some 223 cases that he kind of goes through, and he shows some of the different things that you're looking for on why you would want to reject a case. So, a couple of the things we've got here. So in the first picture, it's all one piece of brass, and he's saying that it shows excessive pressure signs. So what you've got here is you've got a little bulge that they're pointing out. It's possible it wasn't in full battery either, but if you look at the primer, this is kind of a common. I mean, not all of your overpressured primers look the same, but you kind of get a general flattening. This could just be a firing pin slamming into it really hard too. But then you see it's not just one sign; it's a bunch of signs. But then as you look at the rim of the case here, Now you've got indentations from your bolt face. So
Actually, Mike, forgive me, but it's not indentations, it's extrusions.
extrusions.
Yes, the brass is being pressed into the ejector port, the ejector pin port. It's beginning to flow because the pressure is just too high.
Well, those are indentations on that picture, though, Jim.
Okay, my mistake.
So that's not raised up. That's indentations. So
Thank you for the correction, Mike.
no problem. It's kind of hard when you're looking at the pictures to see.
I'm not seeing a good image anyway.
So
Let me see
I'm
if
not,
I can enlarge it.
but
And folks, if you press on the little square at the bottom right of the corner, you could get a whole lot more of the data and video and photograph. Now that looks, I can actually read what Mike's got on screen. It's sort of like pressing the F11 key. Yep, that's the way, Mike. Zoom in.
oh yeah, I switched it to full screen. I thought I had, but anyway.
Mike, if you don't mind, we'll go back up to the top. Let us see that again, a little bit better signs. There we go. Okay, I see what you mean by the indentations down. Now I can see it.
Yep.
I can even see the firing pin crater really plain.
I just blew it up a little better too.
Yeah. Oh, good. That's very good.
So yeah, now you can see the bulge and split. So basically it blew out and then split. And then here's your primer cratering flatter and your flattened primer. And then there's your ejector marks.
Mike, at about 5 o'clock on that thing, you've got a bit of there's a bit of an indentation in the photo. 5 o'clock on the primer is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That comes from dirt that may have been on the bolt face, I would think.
Yeah.
But that ejection mark, that's pretty serious.
So this is what they say a normal case would look like. There's a small amount of cratering created by the firing pin, like I said. Sometimes that's a normal depending on the firing pin. Paul, you see that a lot on yours?
Oh yeah, yeah. Unless you bush your firing pins, your firing pin holes, you'll see it.
Yeah.
And the thing that you're looking at that tells you that you're still in good shape is that the primer itself has still got a rounded edge to it. Okay.
Yeah.
It hasn't.
See if I scroll back up.
Right.
Yeah. I'm just
There.
scrolling back. I'm letting you know I'm
Yeah.
scrolling back up. So you can describe that, Paul.
Yeah. Now there's a flat edge of a primer there, and so it's more or less straight. In other words, the curve has gone out of it. That's leading you to say that there's very high pressures in there. Not as high as, someone showed one on Discord the other day, and I almost had a little. See if I can.
I've got them both, and I've kind of got them both in the same picture now, and you can see the definite difference in the two primers.
Mhm.
So
What's interesting about that is you can see the NATO cross on the LC93 casing, and you look at the radius on the edge of the primer, and you can also see where the reloader cut the crimp out of the primer pocket. He didn't swage it out. He cut it out with a countersink or something of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I say it is because the metal is simply gone, not moved.
mhm.
Oh, we got dents in the case now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Can you close? Yeah, thank you, Mike. Wow. That's a ring chamber is what that is.
Yeah, Jim, I'm not gonna give you a hard time because now I'm getting fuzzy images.
Yeah, those are ring chamber marks. That's a ringing of some kind to the chamber.
Yeah, and because they don't know the firearm, that's kind of the guess. So here's case number 4. These are all different pieces of brass we're looking at here. This one has a little bulge that you can kind of see the outside edge of.
That doesn't bother me too much when you see that. It's
Agreed.
Right.
But let me bring up something here that Mike, Paul, and I were discussing in the host chat on Facebook, and we were discussing incipient head separations. Mike wanted to know: is there an easy way to create one? My answer is this is on the way to creating one right here at the end of that black Sharpie mark. But it's going to take several reloadings, and the brass is going to have to be moved quite a bit before that case head separates.
Mm-hmm. And this would be one of those that it wouldn't bother me much as long as it came out in sizing.
Exactly.
And they're basically just saying that reason for that would be your chamber wasn't semi spec. So,
or was on maximum. It was on maximum of a SAMI spec.
Yep.
Right.
So here is a primer that does not have that cratering that we were showing earlier. So
as you look at that, you see that all the way around that primer was still good.
Yeah.
Nice and rounded, and there was no imprint from a bolt or anything on there. So that was really a mild load, very mild load.
Yep. So here's case 5. It's got another bulge, but it's not as pronounced because this is Lake City brass, so therefore it's machine gun brass. It's not rifle brass. Machine gun brass usually has a thicker case wall. Also, 5.56 usually has a little thicker case wall than a 2.23. So you're not going to get the noticeable. So now here's case number 6. Some of those rings again. That's probably the chamber. Now here the kicker is this one's in a different chamber than the previous. So, but yeah, I mean, other than the first case, so far everything here is safe to reload. Another clean looking primer, no pressure issues. All your lettering on the case head is clear. So another one. So now we're off to number 2, and I got to share that tab. Give me just a second while I switch tabs. So,
well, Mike's switching tabs. I wanted to tell folks I was on Powder Valley website tonight, and they have primers, small pistol primers for sale. They're foreign brand, off brand, whatever brand it is, some kind of imported brand, but they're $80 a thousand.
yeah, that's about going right now.
Mm-hmm.
John said, if you want to see create head separation, reload 303 British. I would if I had the brass.
Absolutely, you'll see it all the time. And Mike,
So,
that will be coming soon.
Yep, I know. Okay, so this is the continuation article. Notice it's quite a bit different in time. So now we're up to 7.62 by 51, 308 brass instead of the 223 556 brass.
Mike, would you
So,
mind closing that cookie bar?
oh yeah, stupid crap. So what gun do we think this was fired out of, kids?
M60. M60 for sure. Neither one of those cases are safe to reload. I wouldn't do
This
it.
is the same case.
Oh. That case has been abused. What those are from is from the ejection port.
My guess, well, their guess, which was kind of similar to mine, is it got jammed in a semi-auto. It's not. Neither of these marks are consistent enough to be from what I've seen, neither of these are consistent enough to show they were actually machine gun brass. This kind of the top one kind of looks like maybe it's an extractor, and then the bottom one, it would be where it gets stuck on the chamber. So the bottom one would be facing the barrel of the rifle. The top would have been facing back against the bolt, and then the bolt slammed into it. That's my guess, based off of their guess. So here's your head of the case, though. Still very good looking primer. So now this one here is a 308 Remington 308 Winchester case with apparent problems from excess pressure. So you got a couple of dimples here that are permanently creased. That one also chuck in the scrap pile. Now we look at the head. Now that primer looks quite a bit different. You don't have the noticeable spacing between the outside of the primer pocket and the primer itself. You're getting a little bit of raised around the firing pin. And then up here by the R, you've got an ejector mark. So.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see what's on my screen there, Mike?
Holy.
Wow. That's a little bit overpressure, Paul.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so high, the pressure's so high that in towards center, the bottom of the lettering, top of the lettering, the material is actually being moved into the lettering gaps.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. And the primer was punched out. I mean, there's a firing pin punched out a hole in the primer.
Oh my God, I've never seen such a hellish looking pressure.
Not in a handgun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really.
I guess I got to quit calling it 40 short and weak in this case. So
yeah. And it's surprising that if you look at the case, there are no bumps or ridges or anything
right.
else.
That's
in
what
it.
I'm looking at here. I'm looking
So-
at the sides and I'm wondering, did they fire this in like a high point?
I think it was fired in a 1911, 2011 with a fully supported chamber, and
Okay.
someone double charged it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I'm looking at is if you fire that in any of the striker fires, that's enough pressure to cause some serious problems, if not kabooms.
Right.
So it had to be a different style. It had to be something that uses the pressure more effectively. So that's why I suggested high point, because
Yeah.
I've seen videos of people trying to blow up high points and they haven't been able to because it unlocks so fast.
Mm-hmm. It
So-
dumps everything out. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that would make sense for 1911, 2011 because it does the same thing.
Yeah. Yep. So
Wow. That's just wow. Hey kids, you should not reuse that case.
My guess, you might not even get the primer out.
You're not going to.
It's so seized up in there, it's not coming out at all.
Well, your decapping pin's gonna punch right through.
Well, yeah.
You
I
got
mean,
the-
even if you tried to plug that, and I don't even know if
No,
even
there's
hydraulically, I don't even think you could do it.
no, nope, that one's not coming out.
yeah.
That's impressive.
Can you say welded?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
That's called a pressure weld.
So
Yep. All right. Onward, forward, and all that kind of good stuff. So
okay, so yeah, that one there was overpressure. That's an extreme overpressure. So basically, looking at this 308 win here that we're looking at, basically that 40 Smith and Wesson case flattened completely. How you see the indications on the letters where you can actually see where they were carved in. Literally, it flattened that.
right.
So it was like printed on, essentially. If you could, that would be the easiest way to describe it. That's how much pressure. So now we look at this lake. Now we're back to a 556 case. This is a Lake City.
Well, first is the primer.
Yep.
Okay, there's a
So-
donut in the primer. That
Yep.
tells you you had a rebound on the firing pin.
Yep.
And it was flowing back into the hole, and the firing pin pushed it out.
Yep.
Then you have on between the 06 and the NATO head stamp, you have where the extractor was pulling the case out and bent the rim.
Yep.
And that's another sign of high pressure.
Yep.
But you look at the primer itself and you look around there and you'll see that it's still rounded all the way around it.
Yeah, I mean the primer's still rounded, but you've also got just to the probably 11 o'clock. You've got some marring on the primer face itself.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
Thanks, Safari. I'll update you later. Go away.
But it's,
Next up.
Yep.
Look at what we got here, kids. Incipient case head separation. Yay. This is why I like this article. Because not a lot of people see this. So I want to get a hold of one so I can actually run my camera down inside it and you can see what it looks like on the inside. But this is kind of an extreme because usually you will see the indications on the inside of the case long before you will see it on the outside. So this is probably one that was fired a couple times too many. So
it could be other things too, as far as the way that one is. It isn't.
Yeah.
It isn't cut through as.
It could be a
flame cutting.
headspace issue. I mean,
Could be
on
a-
this one, yeah, on this one, it
could-
definitely could be headspace issue.
It could be a headspace issue, and it could be just bad brass. I mean, it just happens.
True.
I mean, the brass just gave way.
Here is the head of that case, and you can see excessive flattening.
Hmm.
Not quite as extreme as Paul's 40 Smith & Wesson, but pretty close. So now we got our Glock bulge.
I have a question.
I have an answer.
Does anyone know how to easily find an incipient head case separation?
No.
I do.
Please do, Mike.
You take your fancy camera and you look down in the case.
No. You take a paper clip. You take an ordinary paper clip and you go about 3/16 from one end. You straighten the whole paper clip out in the long wire. About 3/16 from one end, you take and bend it at a 90-degree angle. And you use that to gently, lightly scratch on the inside of the case. And when that incipient head separation begins, you're going to feel a little valley in the head of the casing, Sharinda. There will be where the brass is starting to separate from the head and the body of the case.
Sharpen it first.
That'll work too.
Yeah, sharpen the edge of the edge before you bend it over.
Okay.
It'll catch in the grooves and everything else that are in the brass that are not on the outside yet.
Yeah. Now, if you do have a fancy camera, then you can do that way too. But the paper clip's the easiest, quickest, fastest,
And most expedient,
consistent.
cheapest too.
Yeah. So, yeah. But once you start to get those in there and you start getting that paper clip catching, chuck the case. Or I should say scrap it. Don't chuck it. Easiest. So what do I do if I want to scrap a case? How do I make sure that I don't grab that case again?
Take a pair of pliers to the mouth of the case. Squeeze
Okay.
hard.
Squeeze it.
If that don't work, use a hammer.
Or a bench vise.
Yep.
That could be fun. Okay,
Yep.
So Glock bulge. The reason they call it Glock bulge is because Glocks are the most common offender. There are other firearms out there that create this same bulge by having an unsupported chamber, but Glock's the most common. However, newer gen Glocks don't have the issue anymore. Now, is this case junk?
No.
Nope.
No.
Can
be fixed.
Yep. You won't get as many loadings out of this case, and you definitely need to pay more attention to your cases. But you can still reload this case safely.
Mike, might want to read that article again.
Oh, I saw their article.
They urge you not to reload it. They urge you to throw it out.
Yeah, I know they do.
But I also believe Sierra is erring on the side of caution this time.
Correct. But that's why I said you won't get as many loadings out of it. So, because what they're saying is if you do that once and then you shoot it in a firearm that has another similar issue, it's theoretically possible that it could actually bulge in the exact same spot again, and then therefore stretch. So, reloading it once, sure. Reloading it 15 times, probably not. And like everything, like they say right here, discretion. If in doubt, throw it out. So,
yep.
I mean, that's the thing with inspecting brass, and that's why we're going over this stuff, is, you need to pay attention. You can't just grab your brass or grab range brass and start loading it. You need to look at it first. So
we can't just load it.
Well, you can.
Oh.
I mean, you can do anything in this hobby once.
Yeah.
Just depends on whether you want to take chances with a trip to the emergency room or the morgue, But I mean, you can do anything once. So
true. Yeah.
Or a trip to the ER.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I said emergency room.
Yep.
Silly.
Yeah. The morgue isn't fun, so I don't know.
No.
A little cold in there.
Well, I mean, for you're not going to care, but the rest of the family's going to suck. Okay, so now we have one of the easiest ones to see and find. Or is it?
Oh, I got to tell you, this is this could be the easiest thing in the world or the hardest thing in the world.
Right you are, Chief. Jim, you ever miss one on first inspection?
Sure. Happens quite a bit with 38 special cases. They get worked too hard.
Yep.
Wow.
This is
This-
one of those where you might not find it until after you clean it.
Yeah.
So
And it's 22,250, which is extremely hard on cases.
mhm.
That's why you just have to. And then again, it's in Remington Peters, so it tells you that that thing is hard as you know as steel.
Yeah.
And
Okay. You got yourself out of that bind, Paul.
hey, you know, I used to reload Remington 22,250 because it's all I could get for a while, but now it's a lot different. But
Oh, that's Nick making all that noise.
yeah, he's packing already, getting evicted. Him and Candy are getting evicted.
My bad. I thought I had Mike muted.
Anyway, the thing is, too, Paul and I both, well, Mike knows too, and so does Travis. Most of us reloaders, most of us hosts know there's a way to slow that split down before it happens.
Kneeling.
Yes, but that's for another show.
Correct. So yeah, I mean, you can see this is blown up. This is way bigger than life size.
Mhm.
Let's see if I can make it life size.
Yeah. Oh God. Can't even see that white line on that page now.
That's
Mike.
close.
Yeah,
That's close to about life size. Yeah.
You can't see it.
No.
I'll tell you when you'll see it is when you go to trim the case.
Or see the bullet. Yeah, you'll really find it then.
Sunk,
Scroll up a little bit, Mike, please.
sunk.
There you go. Yep, the
So-
white line right there inside the black frame, the black
Yeah.
Sharpie frame.
Yeah, you may not catch it, but this is why you got to spend time inspecting your brass, especially on bottleneck cartridges or brass that I know that has been loaded a few times, or I don't know how many times it's been loaded. I'll check it before I clean it, and I'll check it again after I clean it. This is one of those that you want to turn it while holding it, because you'll feel that. You may not see it, but you'll feel it. Usually, not always. There is the only thing that is absolute in this hobby is you will make a mistake. Okay? That is literally the only thing in this hobby that is a absolute is you will make a mistake.
And hopefully it's just a little mistake, not a big one.
Right. That's
Like
what you
trying to-
need. Everybody needs to make sure that that's what you understand. The only absolute in this hobby is you will make a mistake or multiple mistakes. Now, I have a mistake that's out in the garage. There's a ammo can out in the garage with about 220 rounds of 40 Smith & Wesson that I need to pull because I wasn't using my press properly and smoothly, and so I had some in there that don't have powder, and I found that out the hard way. Squib. So,
How do you get a squib out of the barrel, Mike?
throw it away and buy a new barrel.
No, you gonna throw your barrel away? Come on, man. Get it right.
No, the best way is a brass rod.
There you go.
Unless
So-
you're Paul, then you can just throw it away and buy another.
Right.
No. We take it out, and I'll be honest with you. I've had a couple of squibs too, and the best one was where I had a squib. It cleared the chamber. It was in a revolver. Went and moved it into the next by trigger pull. Moved it to the next one. It was a full load, but it was only 2.7 grains of bullseye, so it just kind of stuck there, and the cylinder wouldn't turn after that.
Oops.
So about 4 or 5 drops of Kroll down the barrel, and a wood rod, and it just tappity tap tap, and it came out. But squib loads are for real.
Yep. And they're no fun. Now,
Nope.
thankfully, I wasn't rapid firing that day. I was actually aiming and shooting and practicing. So I pulled the trigger. It didn't sound right. And I didn't notice a new hole appearing in my target. So those were all keys that said, oh, wait, there's something wrong. So,
yeah.
Sure enough, this is a good reason why you need to know how to break down your firearm, because it makes it, you do not want to try and get a squib out of a barrel while it's still in the gun usually. So, but anyway, what other problems with brass can we have?
Well, we got military cases that have a crimped in primer, and you could not remove the crimp all the way or at all, and have problems seating the primer.
Yeah, there's a that could lead to a shorts change incident if you don't pay attention and then you try and prime it.
Yeah.
Kerpop.
Yeah, and if you're priming on a press that has a primer feed to it, it could go rat-a-tat-tat-tat as it goes through your sealing. So, and it's really, really, really loud.
Yep.
So, other things that could, your brass could, just be old. I mean, it just could be worn out. Your primer's pockets could be just, too soft. It's too easy to put a primer in. They back out as you shoot it. Case neck thicknesses. You can get donuts in your case, shoulder to case neck junction, where you go to seat a bullet in there, and and the brasses float up into the case at the shoulder case neck junction. And when you put the bullet in, it gets to be too big for your chamber. You go to chamber it, and it's that last two thousandths. You go to close a bolt on it, and you can have a case get stuck in there, a loaded round in that situation. So that's mostly the ones that we look at. Your case necks can get too thick from repeated firings. Your brass flows from the shoulder into the case neck.
That the thick neck wall would also create the potential for high pressure.
Oh, same thing with the donut. Yes, it could. All of it could do that. This is all the things we have to look for when we're going through a case.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not so much on the first one, but you never know.
What about dents in the case body, especially on like rifle, not necessarily handgun?
You talking about lube dents?
No.
Lube dents or dings
okay.
from being ejected?
Lube dents aren't a big deal because they'll pop right out like a balloon. But
what about like so say you've got a firearm that is aggressively ejecting and like say an AR, so it's aggressively ejecting it and bouncing it off the built-in deflector there, and it's denting there.
Yeah, if it's got a crease in it, you don't want to use it again.
Correct. That's what I was kind of.
Have you ever handled the HK91, Mike?
No, but I've seen the brass afterwards.
Oh yes, you know
That's
exactly
one of the
where I'm
reasons I
going.
will never own one of those silly things.
You can reuse the brass out of an HK91.
Yeah.
But what my point is not the striations, Paul. I'm talking about when an HK91 dings the hell out of the wall of the case
Of course
on
it
the
does.
ejector port.
I mean, it's just the nature of the beast. But
Mhm.
it's a $10 item to slip a plastic cover on that edge, and it will stop that.
Mhm.
But
They make them for the ARs too, so you don't have that
Yeah.
But
problem.
you see, that rifle was actually designed for the military purposes, and that rifle is that the ejector and extractor are designed to get that case out of the chamber. Period.
Mhm.
yeah, but what it is it's letting two objects go when you pull the trigger at the enemy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got a point, Paul. But my
You know.
point is the military doesn't reload. They always use new brass. That's why they're not worried about what the case looks like when it comes out. But the point
No.
is we do care about it.
Yeah.
And that's why Mike said he wouldn't own one because of the case with wall dents and the
Well, that because
striations.
they're $5,000. So
They are?
Yeah, 5 to 8. Yeah.
Oh my God, the price went up like, oh my God.
Yeah, they used to be $750 in the early.
Yeah, what I'm thinking about was $800.
Yeah, there used to be like I say, $600 to $700 in the early '80s. So
Mm-hmm.
you could not have a problem with them. And they used to get $45 for a magazine at that time. And then
Yep.
about a couple of years ago, you could buy them for $1.50 a piece. I mean, the Germans were getting rid of them. So, yeah, all comes around, goes around. You can't get any more imported in here, so the prices have gone through the roof. But go back to the chamber on that. Yes, they do have a stratified chamber where there are grooves throughout the whole thing to make extraction easier for the roller delay bolt.
Mhm.
So that's how they've dealt with it. So
Yeah.
But there are a lot of other guns that chew up cases too.
Yeah, the NFL.
Yeah, and M1A chews up cases.
Yep.
Mhm.
You pointed that out earlier when the first cases we saw in the Sierra article from Mike.
Yeah.
So
there's this whole thing that we do when we inspect a case. We have to sit down and look at the whole thing and say yes, no, or however we look at it, and make a judgment call if that case is any good to reload. And it's going to take maybe a couple of gauges, maybe a couple of tools that you're going to have to get, and it's going to take your time and inspect it and clean it.
yeah, it's definitely one of those things that you. I will usually do a precursory quick inspection before I clean them. Yeah, I mean, if there's anything that's ridiculously obvious, like the head stamp has been brutalized, no. If there's a crease in it, no. If the neck's split, no. Just stuff that you can that really stands out. You can see really easily.
Yeah.
And then into the cleaner they go. How do we clean brass? What are different ways we can clean brass?
Hey, get a some 4/0 steel wool and polish it with your fingers. Just hold it in your hand and
Mm-hmm.
back and forth and clean it up that way.
Yeah.
Please don't use Brasso. Okay.
Nope.
Don't use anything that has an ammonia in it to clean brass. All right. Got that out of the way. Next, we can tumble the brass in a media. The
Tumbler.
media would with a tumbler, which would be a walnut or a corncob type material that will polish the brass at that time.
No sand.
No
No
sand.
blasting media.
No blasting media. No.
So, what was it that they said Eric's using?
Rice.
Rice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's it's cheap and it's got enough sharp edges to polish it, and
Yep.
you just have to understand that you're going to go through it a lot faster, and no, you can't use it to eat with after you get done with it.
Yeah.
Well, we have a comment on screen from Patrick Sear. He says, "Good old corncob in a tumbler with a little brass polish." I would say the only thing is we go back to what Paul and Mike both have said. Do not use brass polish.
Right.
Or
Whatever you do.
any ammonia that's in there
Yeah.
to do it.
Mm-hmm. Some use an automotive finish like New Finish or something like that.
Well, I mean, he's probably talking about there's what 15 or 20 different products that they make that's an additive for your
Right.
media.
Plitz,
IASO makes one. Lyman's got one. I think RCBS
Flitz has one too.
Flitz has one. All these different things that are specifically marketed for polishing brass that you put in there. You can use those. I personally just use New Finish liquid polish, about an ounce. So, but GGW Outdoor said lizard litter, which is the walnut media, just cheaper.
Yeah.
So, Lucas Oil has a metal polish that you can use in there too. So, Patrick uses Quick and Ease. So,
there's
if
other
you
ways
wanna-
too.
well, yeah, I mean, if you want a wet tumble,
Yeah.
a little bit of Dawn, a little bit of Lemmy Shine, and a Rubbermaid container.
Mm-hmm.
Shake till clean. Dump water out. Add cold water. Rinse and repeat as necessary. So.
Yeah, and
You
there's
were right, Mike. Mr. Sear put up the comment that he used Quick and Ease.
there's stainless steel media.
Yep.
that
But
we
that's
can
for wet
use.
tumbling, isn't it, Paul?
Yeah, but it's still cleaning the cases. So
Yeah.
and
Cleaning it well.
and then there's ultrasonic cleaning.
Ken said he uses his wife's washing machine.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to use, I guess. So,
Yeah.
I've said to use you can use your dryer for drying it, but we'll get to that in a minute. So, yeah, Southern Shine stainless chip media I've heard good things about. So, Frankfurt Arsenal has a media, a stainless steel media. I think there's a couple other companies that do. Those you can use. You can wet tumble without buying a wet tumbler. Like I said, you can use the Rubbermaid container and shake the heck out of it. The biggest thing with wet tumbling is you need to rinse.
Yeah.
Unlike dry tumbling, where you can just pull it out and away you go after you separate your media. Sometimes there's a dust behind if you didn't do a proper job of de-dusting your media. But we'll get into that in a second. But you can use your stainless media or whatever. but you're going to have to rinse that because when you, just like washing dishes, you can't just take your dishes out of the dishwasher and put them in the drainer because they still have the dishwater on them. You need to rinse that dishwater off, just like you need to rinse the tumbling water off the brass. So, now what I said by dedusting, what I did with my my lizard bedding is I took it, opened the bag that it came in, and I did this on a nice breezy day. And then I poured it into storage containers. Now, as I'm pouring it, I made sure there was 18 to 24 inches of airspace between the mouth of the bag and the container it was going in. So, being windy, being a breezy day, it was like 5, 10, I think 10-mile-an-hour breezes, but it blew off all that dust on there. And then you can do the same thing by just, kind of working it and stuff. You can do the same thing with corncob media. It doesn't work as well because corncob media is kind of a little different style. Rice as a natural, if you read your instructions on your rice makers, and then also like if you use rice in an Instapot, it says you need to rinse your rice before you put it in there because rice is covered with a white starch, starchy dust. So you would need to dedust your rice before you would use that as a tumbling media too. Stainless, basically, it's just a matter of rinsing it off when you're done, just like you would with your brass. So dry tumbling, you don't need to dry your brass because it's dry. With an ultrasonic cleaner, they make solutions, or you can use your Dawn and Lemmy Shine mix. That's what I did. And then what I did to dry it off after I rinsed it off, because you still need to rinse it off whenever you're wet tumbling, I just threw it in my vibratory tumbler. Boom.
One thing about ultrasonic cleaning is be informed it will not polish your brass. It will clean your brass spick and span. All grease, all dust will be gone, but ultrasonic does not polish your brass.
That is correct. So,
yeah.
In order to polish the brass, you need some sort of agitation against the brass. That's why you have either the vibratory tumblers with the dry media, or you have the wet tumblers with usually the stainless media. So, Bama Dad said he switched from Lemmy Shine to Oxy. I could see how that might work too. I don't know if it has. The reason for using the Lemmy Shine is it has a citric acid in it. So, James Pooh said Harbor Freight Sonic cleaning powder works with really hot water to tumble also. So, but they will. A lot of people say when you're tumbling, use hot water. Some people say cold water. Your mileage may vary. Try it out, see what it works for you.
Most ultrasonics have a heater in them, so
right.
Yeah.
I'm saying as far as the tumbling,
right.
If you're going to wet tumble. But now you got to dry that brass that you wet tumbled or you ultrasonic tumbled. Like I said, I throw mine when I do it, and it's usually just been for experimental purposes. I'll throw it in my vibratory tumbler. That's how I dry it. Usually 10 minutes and done. You can leave it out in the sun. Jim, what's up?
You can also put it on top of your hot water tank in a plastic in a mesh bag. Put it over there overnight, and the heat from the excess heat, the waste heat from the hot water tank, whichever media you use, dry right out.
You can use the mesh bag like Jim's talking about, lingerie bag. You can use that in the dryer.
Mm-hmm. That's
yeah,
noisy.
We'll see how that goes over.
No, what you
didn't
do.
Go over when I tried it.
Well, you don't throw the bag in there.
You throw the brass in there.
You put the brass in the bag, and then the way those bags are supposed to actually be used, they don't tumble around in the tumbler. You actually shut it in the door, and it hangs. So it's literally sitting against the door and the air's still flowing against it, but it's not bouncing all over the place on the inside. So now you're not dinging up your brass to dry it. You're just drying it.
You're also not digging up your dryer.
Correct. It's not noisy.
Look at Shrinda waiting for somebody to try to be dumb enough to try that in her dryer.
So
Well, nobody reloads here but me anyway.
what otherwise some people have done is put it in with a bunch of towels. Bama Dad said pillowcase and a few rags in it and swing it around to get the excess water off, then lay out on a towel with fan overnight. So he's saying put it in a pillowcase, put a few rags in there, and swing it around using the motion to help get the water out of the cases. So
Centrifugal force, yeah.
there you go. Dehydrator oven at low temperature, warm setting, no higher. I mean, some people do it at 300, but whatever.
That'll oxidize the brass. You could lay it outside for a couple hours in North Carolina sun. That'll dry it out. Also make it too damn hot to touch.
Yeah, I mean, you can put it on the kitchen table and let it dry, or anywhere and let it dry. It'll just take longer if you don't have a heat source other than just room temperature. So, but there's lots of different methods on how to dry your brass. So. Yep, put it on a towel or a cookie sheet. Some people do that. Dehydrators are one of the popular ways. So, but anything we missed?
Yeah, somebody put up a distilled water, blow off most of it and let it set. And what are they going to blow it off? That sounds like compressed air. Maybe
that was Jonathan that said that.
Oh, okay. Maybe use the exhaust from a shop vac
or an air compressor.
I wouldn't want to use compressed air like that. You start moving your brass around. Fling a few cases onto the floor or whatever.
And take one in your hand and just blow it, stick it in, blow it out.
I wouldn't be afraid to do that.
Yeah.
John's hand loading. I threw out an old food dehydrator about 6 months before I started. Yep. Oh, that's tough.
You get a big blue star for that, John. And we'll put your comment up for a second.
Jonathan said he's got a bucket with holes in it. So there you go.
Yeah. If you're tumbling using the Lemon Shine and Dawn formula, do not leave your brass in a long time.
No.
Okay. Cut it short.
Yep. Just like the ammonia, the Lemmy Shine is acidic and will weaken your brass in long term. Hey, Jim, do you remember that brass that I forgot about in my ultrasonic clear? Or what was left of it?
That was a few years ago.
Yeah, it was. I thought I'd gotten all the brass out and left the solution in there, and then kind of forgot about it for a couple weeks. Yeah, there was some 40 short and weak brass that wasn't all there anymore. So, oops.
Oops.
Yep.
Yeah, what happens is the acid attacks the zinc in the brass and changes the properties of the brass and makes it a lot harder. So, and eventually um, we'll eat the case away.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Anyway, I'm gonna have to call it a night, you guys. I'm gotta get up 4:30.
I was just gonna wrap her up, Jim.
I'll stick further up then, Mike. Go ahead and wrap it up, please.
All right. So when you're looking for stuff, swing on over to Primary Arms. They've got all sorts of reloading equipment over there. They actually now have the Lyman Cyclone rotary tumbler in stock if you're looking. So they've got ways to clean your brass. They've got vibratory tumblers too, and all sorts of fun stuff. They've got all sorts of good stuff to take care of your brass. Right now they're running a 10% off site-wide code. Also check out their new binoculars they got out. A couple of nice setups there. So then check out Patriot Patch Company. Here's the February patch of the month. Seeking Love. So patriotpatch.co. Swing over, check them out. They all got all sorts of cool stuff. So there's the vinyl sticker you get if you're a Patch of the Month member. So they not only make patches, but they've got all sorts of other stuff too. They also they can do custom orders if you've got a patch idea you want. Howdy, Jason. So that's the one that says hi from Calgary. That should be a nice load. He said he just came in from the shop prepping a ladder load for CFE 223 in 308 or for 308. So that should be a good load. It'll be fun. Have to let us know the results of that. Anybody got any shout outs?
I already mentioned his name twice tonight. He's my nephew Rick. I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna send him a link for this. Tell him what to look for.
Had some toys you got to play with?
Yes, sir.
It's always fun. So, Sharenda?
I got a shout out to all my friends and maybe about 1/3 of my family that's been coming through and helping me out and making it so I don't have to cook. And it's been a big lifesaver. I feel like I should be thanking somebody else, but since I haven't had coffee, this ain't working well.
Oh, good.
Better days are coming, Sharenda. You
Man,
know that.
y'all notice I didn't have coffee at all through the entire show because I forgot.
Oof.
You forgot coffee.
I forgot coffee.
Oh.
Ouch.
We better. What's the suicide hotline, Mike?
Oh my goodness.
988.
98.
Anyway. All right. So let's wrap this up so Shredder can get some coffee.
Yeah, really.
On that note, keep your brass shiny because it's easier to find the defects. Sharenda?
Teach a lady how to reload and then let her just pinch off your stash just a little bit, especially now because stuff's still kind of high.
Grandpa told me not to listen to my mama. He goes, violence does solve problems.
Support the Second Amendment. It's the most important amendment we have in the Bill of Rights.
Mm-hmm. Second Amendment Foundation really needs their support right now. They got a lot of court cases and a lot of places going on. So definitely could use some help there. If you're struggling, 988 or 1-800-273-8255, reach out. There's a lot of good help there. We want to keep you here. Mental health is a real issue. And we need to really be cognizant of who we interact with and know what signs to look for and try and ultimately, if somebody doesn't want help, there's nothing you can do. Remember that. If you try and force it on them, and it just makes it worse. but just make sure that they know that there's people out there that care, and that there's what's the word? I don't know.
Compassion out there.
Well, the compassion, but there's resources out there to help them, other than just
Don't lock it up and compartmentalize it, guys.
uh-uh.
Get some help.
Yep, absolutely.
Really, really, really get some help. It's just that simple.
Yep. Thanks, folks. Good night.
Good night.